Politics Live. As the internet advances and grows, so does the political world's involvement. We've seen many examples of how the World Wide Web helps get a candidate's message out there, or even just get them noticed. But now that democracy has been digitized, the virtual video library may actually be hurting more than it helps. One video that got a lot of play and sparked a lot of questions as to who the wizard behind the curtain was the Hillary 1984 video mashup of the famous Apple Super Bowl ad.
We're all going to be part of the solution.
I don't want people who already agree with me. I want honest, experienced, hardworking, patriotic people who want to be part of a team, the American team.
And 3 other viral videos showed us that sometimes candidates forget that the cameras are always rolling, even when that little red light isn't on. First, there was the infamous John Edwards video where he readied for an interview by spending more time on his hair than possibly even Donald Trump.
Charming, oh so charming, it's alarming how charming I feel, and so pretty that I hardly believe I'm real.
And who could forget John McCain's Beach Boys impersonation when he was asked what the U.S. should do about Iran?
That old Beach Boys song, Bomb Iran? Bomb, 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 bomb. Anyway.
And here at RNN, for months, we saw one of our own videos linked to hundreds of blogs. That was none other than Run, Sue, Run video featuring the infamous and now unseated Congresswoman Sue Kelly running away from our cameras as we tried to ask her about her role in the Page scandal. Now, those are just a few examples of how YouTube is becoming a virtual playhouse for candidates' most embarrassing moments. And joining me now to talk more about YouTube wars and the role of the internet in the '08 race, former advisor to several members of Congress, Personal Democracy Forum founder Andrew Rasiej. Welcome to the program.
Pleasure to be here.
Let's start off talking about blogs, MySpace, YouTube, Facebook. How are all these new mediums changing politics?
Well, it's pretty clear that the internet is now an entirely new battlefield in the world of politics, and with the presidential campaigns getting off to an early start, a lot of the intramurals are all happening on the internet.
Now, a lot of online interactivity people have boasted about the actual interactivity element of it, even when it comes to campaign fundraising. How do you get people who are not so interested in politics to kind of sign on to this idea?
Well, the internet is obviously now a big part of our entire media landscape, and people are getting a lot of the information about everything that they do in their lives from the internet, and that's true for politics too. And so in previous election cycles, everyone believed that the internet was able to reach young people or only those people who are online. But what's clear now is that mainstream media is following politics through the internet, and many of the discussions, whether they be blogs or videos that are posted on YouTube related to politics, are seen by the mainstream media, and the mainstream media then reports on it and presents it to a much larger audience, either through television, radio, or traditional newspapers. So the internet is acting sort of as the conductor or the ringmaster, sort of setting the pace and the tone and establishing much of the agenda in the political discourse in this country. And so it's affecting far more than just those who are online, but the entire political environment.
So how do you turn online interest into offline action and campaign dollars?
Well, through social networking sites like MySpace and Facebook, many of the campaigns have built large volunteer armies, people who have offered to help promote the campaign amongst their friends and have offered to volunteer. And so the campaigns now have far more tools available to them than just simply email to be able to mobilize supporters, either to attend a rally, to knock on people's doors, to raise money, to push a petition, and to create awareness. So it's more than just email. It's blogs, it's social networks, as I just mentioned, MySpace or Facebook, or their own social networks that they've created on their site. If you go to most of the presidential campaign websites, you'll see an opportunity to do more than just simply register or to make a donation. They'll ask you for your profile, they'll ask you what issues you're most interested in, and campaigns are learning how to connect these people to each other and to turn that online energy into offline activity as well.
Now, as of this morning, Barack Obama had over 68,000 Facebook friends. Does that really mean anything?
Well, it does, actually. It means that there is a certain amount of energy for him. It's not necessarily a vote. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win any of the primaries, but it's an indicator of the ability to attract people's interest. And to the degree that a campaign can rely on this group, this self-organizing group of supporters, to help drive his message, it's very telling that he has a lot of grassroots support. And when compared to other candidates, it's a way for us, those who are interested in politics, and the media, like yourself, to be able to gauge beyond the polls, a little deeper into what's actually supporting a candidate or who a candidate, which candidate might be getting the most attention.
Now, this year already we saw a lot of examples like the Edwards I Feel Pretty, we saw the Bomb Iran video with John McCain. Do you think that YouTube actually hurts more than it helps at the end of the day?
Oh, I think that the wild card in the presidential race this time around is going to be voter-generated content. And the fact that it's very easy for someone with a Mac or a PC notebook to create a video, high-quality video, and to post it on YouTube makes for a very interesting media environment related to politics. So it's not just the television commercials produced by the political organizations or the reporting done on politics that might appear on TV or on radio. Voters are actually producing content themselves. And so the fact that YouTube exists is really no different than, you know, a historical perspective on pamphleteering or people flyering or people making speeches in public squares on behalf of an issue or a candidate on their own. It's just that the technology now allows people to do this very effectively on their own and push it out to many people on their own, irrespective of what the campaigns themselves may want.
So finally, what's next? Where can we go from here?
Well, I think what you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing the internet affecting more than just the political process, but how government itself delivers services to its citizens, and how citizens themselves are going to be able to hold their government and elected officials accountable. There's various sites being created around the country where citizens are now combing through the records that are being published by the government online and are discovering the connections between money and politics and the decisions that are made and contracts that are signed with various entities to try to get things done, but are clearly not necessarily being done in an open and honest way. And so citizens are now much more empowered, and you're going to start seeing the internet not just a tool used in elections, but actually used in governance.
So it's all very amazing what the average voter can do from their mom's basement. Andrew Rasiej, thank you so much for the time.
Pleasure to be here.
And now it's time to see what some of you wanted to think